Wherever you are, we welcome you.
One more minute and we'll get started. Let's get started and lead us in our opening song.
Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you.
We certainly do. Good morning, everybody. I'm Susan Rogers. I'll be presenting today's service along with Kevin McCluney and Demetrius Ingram, whose beautiful voice you just heard. Robin Perry and Lisa Morel-Price are going to be providing technical assistance from home. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We are glad that you can keep in touch and support our community, even if we can't be together in person. But first, a few important announcements. This is our second service on Zoom, and here's what you need to know in order to enjoy the service. Be aware that we are recording the service, and it will be posted on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Also, we're going to be turning off all the mics and cameras for most of the service to minimize distraction and to eliminate any feedback from open mics. You will not be able to turn these back on yourself. That would be Lisa. During hymns, sometimes attendees' mics will be turned on in order to create a virtual choir. If you would like to be part of the group of volunteers, of singers for this virtual choir, then, or if you would like to perform a song during the service, please let us know by emailing Lisa Merrill-Price at services@mvuuc.org. During the announcements and the joys and concerns, you can request to have your mic and camera turned back on and to share by clicking on the raise hand button that's at the bottom of your Zoom window. If you are on a computer, we recommend that you go ahead and show the participants' windows by clicking on participants near the bottom of the screen along that black bar. We recommend that you also click on the button that says chat near the bottom of the screen so that you can view and send messages to others during the service. If you need a phone or if you are on a phone or a tablet, you only need to click on these windows when you need them. So mics and cameras will be restored at the end of the service during the coffee hour. And if you'd like to see the order of service, please look in the comments in the chat box or see it in the email that was sent to you this morning. Now that we've covered all these important announcements, we'll continue with the service. Our hearts are touched by the human need we feel all around us, whether far away or within reach of our own hands. We come here to be together because this is how we believe our lives are best lived. In questioning and in conversation, in compassion and in service, in gratitude and in joy, in companionship and in love. It is good to be together with you this morning. Please take a moment to think of all your friends at MVUUC, greet them with a comment in the chat box, and remember that you can still reach out to them via email or phone or social media or video chat. Physical distancing does not need to mean emotional distancing, so let us support one another. Say hello in the chat. Take a moment. to our visitors. We are a very diverse group with varying interests and beliefs, and our services are varied in format, tone, and topic. So we encourage you to view several services to get an idea and a good understanding of what our congregation is all about. If you would like to receive our weekly email newsletter, please email us at news, N-E-W-S, at mvuuc.org. MVUUC remains committed to supporting our members and friends during this difficult time of social distancing. For that reason, we are coordinating assistance with things like groceries, phone calls, and other needs. So if this sounds like something that would be helpful to you, please send an email to SAC, that's S as in Susan, A, C as in corn, at mvuuc.org with your name and what kind of assistance you would like to request. And now is the time for announcements. Announcements can be said ahead of time to services at mvuuc.org to be read. If you have an important announcement now, you can raise your hand by clicking on that raise hand button down at the bottom of the screen. Then we will announce your name and turn on your mic and your camera so that you can make the announcement yourself. Lisa, are there any announcements today?
Yes, thank you. I do have a couple of announcements. From the Social Action Committee, we have two announcements. The first one is we are looking for donations of gardening supplies from congregation members who might have extra items. In particular, we are interested in sourcing tomato cages, garden trowels, watering cans, and any decorative items that folks would like to contribute. If you have items you would like to donate, please email Megan at S as in Sam, A as in Apple, C as in Cat, at mvuuc.org. And the second announcement is the Social Action Committee would like to set up a regular weekly phone tree to enable congregants to check in on each other and stay connected. We need volunteers who are willing to make 5 to 10 phone calls per week just to ask how people are doing and catch up with each other. If you are interested in volunteering to make calls for this regular phone tree, please email Megan at sac@mvuuc.org. And those are my only announcements.
Very good. Thank you, Lisa. So let's continue with our service. The chalice will be lit today by Demetrius Ingram. Please join me in reading the words for the chalice lighting that appear as a comment in the chat box or in your order of service. Sometimes when we are in a dark place, we feel like we have been buried, but actually we've just been planted. I was born and raised in Michigan, and one rite of passage for every Michigander was to be able to go to hell and back, at least for the day. Hell, Michigan, population 72, is located north of Chelsea and Dexter, near the little town of Pinckney. It's a really lovely drive, especially on a fall day during cider and donut season. In Hell, Michigan, you can buy ice cream at the crematorium. You can eat at the Hellhole Diner. You can get married in the little chapel there, get married in Hell, and be mayor for a day, and also attend Damnation University, where you can earn a Damn You diploma. As kids, my brothers and I loved going to hell and back on a beautiful fall day. And as kids, it was fun to be allowed to say the word hell without getting a swat on the rear end or soap in the mouth. I've often looked back on my family visits to hell with a smile on my face. How we used to laugh at the very idea of being in hell. Then I grew up and went to hell again. Only this time it wasn't a place with ice cream. Turns out real hell, AKA tough times, isn't so funny or fun. In fact, it's pretty difficult to live through a hellish period of your life, and it doesn't matter if the duration is short or long. Tough times come to us all, as is evidenced by this pandemic. I am fascinated by stories of famous people and celebrities and others who seem to have these wonderful lives, but then you learn that they are struggling through some really tough times with illness or something along those lines, or they're currently living in private hells of their own making. Living through tough times is truly a shared experience. Everyone has a story to tell. During one of my tough times, my husband Rick bought me 2 books that I want to recommend to you for reading. The first book is called When Things Fall Apart, Hard Advice for Difficult Times. And the second book is called The Places That Scare You, A Guide to Fearlessness in Difficult Times. And both these books are written by a well-known American Buddhist nun named Pema Chodron. In the book When Things Fall Apart, Chodron writes these words: things falling apart is a kind of testing and also a kind of healing. We think that the point is to pass the test or to overcome the problem. But the truth is, things don't ever really get solved. They come together and then they fall apart. Then they come together again and then they fall apart again. It's just like that. The healing comes from letting there be room for all of this to happen. Room for grief, room for relief, room for misery, and for joy. In other words, Chodron is saying, there's a lot about life that just is not in our control. And we will go through periods of time when things are going great, and then suddenly something bad will happen. It comes together and then it falls apart. I used to feel that somehow I had caused bad things to happen in my life, that I was in fault some way. And sometimes that was true. I did or said something that wasn't so bright and there were consequences. But at other times, like during a job loss, it was not my fault. I always tried to be a good employee, but the company was sold or downsized during an economic downturn. And suddenly my job was eliminated through no fault of my own. I've lost a job 4 times during my long career, and being let go was always demoralizing and terrifying to me. I would be in distress for months. It's difficult looking for a new job when you feel broken and worthless. It's difficult, but it's doable. There is only one approach to suffering that has lasting benefits, says Chodron. And that approach involves moving forward, moving toward painful situations with friendliness and curiosity. They're 2 words you don't normally associate with painful situations. relaxing into the essential groundlessness of the entire situation. Use the painful situation to cultivate wisdom, compassion, and courage. Groundlessness in this case means no control. There's no ground beneath your feet. Use that time to feel what you feel, and then learn compassion for other people who are going through similar circumstances. In the other book, The Places That Scare You, she writes, "We all put up protective walls made of things like opinions, prejudices, and strategies, barriers that are built on our deep fear of being hurt. These walls are further fortified by emotions of all kinds, such as anger, craving, indifference, jealousy, and envy, arrogance, and pride. But fortunately for us, the soft spot, which is our innate ability to love and to care about things, is like a crack in the walls that we erect. It's a natural opening in the barriers we create when we're afraid. It's a natural, with practice, we can learn to find this opening. We can learn to seize that vulnerable moment. Love, gratitude, loneliness, embarrassment, inadequacy, to open up our heart and mind. We can all learn to use tough times to become more compassionate and caring human beings, and ultimately to be there for someone else. And now Demetrius will lead us in our next song, singing Lean on Me by Bill Withers. You can find the words in the Zoom chat box or in the order of service. Take it away, Demetrius.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have faith, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. When you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just hold on, my brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Lean on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lead me on.
Thank you, Demetrius. That was wonderful. So I'm going to be offering a reflection today. August 26, 2010. My wife, Noelle, was 22 weeks pregnant. We had tried for well over a year and were overjoyed to be having twins, one boy and one girl. It would be challenging, but we were ready. Everything was going well. Unexpectedly, Noelle went into labor. The doctors and nurses did everything they could to stop it, but nothing worked. Zachary and Lena were born, but with underdeveloped lungs, they lived only a few short moments. This was the worst day of my life. The next 6 months were also horrible. People often wonder how this didn't break us. It did, a bit. It's the kind of thing you never really completely get over. Even after extended grief counseling in the 6 months following their birth and death, years later, I ended up returning to see a therapist to work through all this. But Noelle and I were lucky to have a decent academic understanding of the grief process from a class we had taken together in college. There are many stages to grief, but really, in my opinion, it all boils down to this: time. The only thing that really makes it feel any better is the passage of time. But the knowledge that time will make it better can be a motivator. There's a famous quote by Winston Churchill: "When you're going through hell, keep going." How did we make it through it? We put one foot in front of the other and kept going, with the knowledge that eventually it wouldn't hurt quite so much. I recently read an article that mentioned the Stockdale Paradox. Vice Admiral James Stockdale was the highest ranking official to be held captive during the Vietnam War. When asked how he got through it, he said it was the knowledge that eventually he would get through it. Others would cling to specific dates at which they would be rescued, and then would lose hope when those dates passed. Stockdale never picked a time frame for his rescue, but held to the idea that if he could keep going, one day at a time, he would eventually get out. And he did, 8 years later. I think these stories have particular relevance during this pandemic. Things are pretty bad right now. That's an understatement, really. Over 100,000 people have already died in the US. These are the confirmed cases. The actual death toll is likely higher. We are not done. In fact, in many places, the death toll is still rising, and yet we are opening back up. In addition to fatalities, countless others may walk away from the illness with long-term disabilities. To keep these deaths and long-term effects from getting catastrophically worse, we have been quarantined. Quarantines can cause harm in and of themselves. It could be the economic harm of being out of work, which can lead to increased stress, and in some cases, chronic hunger, or can result in direct physical harm if vulnerable people live in abusive households or put off getting important medical treatments. Even in the best of situations, quarantines can lead to emotional harm. I feel it. This is hard. And no one can predict with certainty how long it will last. How can we get through this? Well, when you're going through hell, keep going. I could leave it there, but friends and family can also help you get through hell. After we lost the twins, we had so much support, and that really helped me. Don't forget this. Physical distancing does not need to mean social distancing. So many people love you and support you. Remember that and hold on to it. Now we will have a guest performance of the song Arms Open by The Script, performed by MVUUC's very own James Bland, coming to us live from his home.
Hi, just checking. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Great, thanks. I can't unfeel your pain. I can't undo what's done. I can't send back the rain. But if I could, I would. My love, my arms are open. So when you feel like you can't take another round of being broken, my arms are open. And when you're losing faith and every door around you keeps on closing, my arms are open. I can't uncry your tears, I can't rewind the time, I can't unsay what's said in your crazy life. My love, my arms are open. Oh, when you're looking at the sky and thinking, Lord, you must be joking, my arms are open. And when you're looking in the mirror thinking that my life is over, my arms are open. 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 So what they did to you, you always done for me. Let me be the ground underneath your feet. I can't unfeel your pain. I can't undo what's done. I can't send back the rain. But if I could, I would. My love, my arms are open. So when you feel like you can't take another round of being broken, my arms are open. And when you're losing faith and every door around you keeps on closing, my arms are open. 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 I will be standing here. I will be by your side. You feel me loud and clear with my arms open wide. I will be standing here. I will be by your side. You feel me loud and clear with my arms open wide. My arms are open.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, James. I think that's perfect. I think we all want to give you a hug, great big virtual hug from here. So I'm going to talk a moment about how I think that today's service connects to our principles. I think this service most closely relates to our second principle about compassion in human relations. Most of us have dealt with difficult times at one point or another. I think sharing how we have gotten through it can provide a sense of shared experience and solace to others who are currently struggling. Additionally, difficult times can often cause people to come together to support one another in their time of need. As with many things in life, good things can come out of bad. The difficult times can often bring out the best in people. So let us support one another.
So now more than ever, we are counting on your pledge payments and donations to help sustain and strengthen this congregation of love that is so important to all of us, supporting our efforts to be a community of love, truth, justice, and service. So please click on the link and be sure to select the correct designation on the drop-down box when you donate. And in the meantime, Demetrius is going to play a little bit of music on the piano. Thank you, Demetrius. The closing words today comes from Pema Chodron's book, When Things Fall Apart. The spiritual journey involves going beyond hope and fear, stepping into unknown territory, continually moving forward. The most important aspect of being on a spiritual path may be just to keep moving. So please join me in the words for extinguishing the chalice that can be found in the comments in your chat box and in the order of service, which is also posted as a comment in the chat box. And Demetrius, prepare to extinguish the candle, please. We can let the circumstances of our lives harden us so that we become increasingly resentful and afraid. Or we can let them soften us and make us kinder and more open to what scares us. We always have this choice. After the service, which will end in a few minutes, we will turn on all of the videos and the mics. Feel free to stay in Zoom and chat with your fellow MVUUC members and friends for our coffee hour. Please be patient, as turning on the cameras must be done one at a time, and it can just take a few minutes to get to everybody. And now for our closing song, let us sing hymn 311, Let It Be a Dance. You can find the words as a comment in the Zoom chat box, and it's also attached to your order of service.
Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Let the music say the words and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. You can follow the lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. May I have this dance with you. Through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. And like a willow with the wind. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. The child is born from the sky. A time for joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by. Let it be a dance. May I have a dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Morning starts out at night. Without the dark there is no light. If nothing's wrong, then nothing's right. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let the sunshine, let it rain. Share the laughter, bear the pain. And round we go again. Let it be a dance.
Thank you, Demetrius. That is the end of our service, but please stay for the virtual coffee hour that follows. Thanks, everybody, and have a good Sunday.